So thank you for attending our monthly webinar series. This training is will be on the end of marking period process and how to advance students from marking period 1 to marking period 2. So mainly I'll be working or concentrating on Edison since they're the only vendor we have that has marking period courses, but I'll also touch on our other vendors, Accelerate Ed, Apex, OdysseyWare, and eDynamic. So our first situation is it's the end of the marking period here, and we have our student and he's done, or he needs, or you're ready to close out his courses. You can go to the Students tab, check on your student here from the list of your students, and then you scroll down here to current enrollments. And this pulls up all the active enrollments for the student. So we're just going to pick a course here, Math Part 6th grade Part 1. He only did one assignment, but it's the end of the marking period. We're no longer giving him extensions. We want this course closed out. So I will check the little radio button here and then scroll down to the bottom of the page and request the non-running grade. So what this does is it sends an email to the teacher. So we'll send an email to Kevin Call, the demo teacher for Edison, letting him know that I want this course graded out, this part 1 of 6th grade math for our demo student here. This prevents the student from accessing the course anymore. So he can still get into the course, but he can no longer complete any work in the course. And then the teacher has up to 48 hours to grade out the course from now. If it's an English course, they have 72 hours just because of the whole writing process, essays and stuff like that they need to grade. The other thing you can do is you can go to your affiliations tab, click on your school, and then click on current enrollments. And instead of going student by student, you can bulk request grades for all your active students. As you can see, we have 666. It's an odd number of enrollments here. And we can go down and check them all, or you just go down your list and select those radio buttons for all the students that you want graded out. Obviously, this is our demo school, so we have a lot of enrollments from like 2015 and so on and so forth. But again, you would scroll down to the bottom once you have all those checked off and select Request Non-Running Grade. Again, the non-running grade is the grade for the work the student has completed, as well as the work the student has yet to complete. And again, the teacher has 48 hours to provide a final grade for that part, unless it's an English course, and they have 72. So I'm going to log in as our advisor to show you the next step in the whole process. So let me pull up an advisor here real quick. And we'll log in as our advisor here. So once you request the grade, the advisor for that student has to go into Edison to approve the grade. And to do that, you would click on your Go to LMS. You click on the computer screen here next to Edison. And it would log you in as the advisor. So our advisor here has 109 students. We can see that there's 2 grades waiting to be approved. So we would click on those grade approvals. And we've got our English 2 Part 1 here. Student got 100. Great, we love it. So we'll hit the rubber stamp here, which processes that approval. Now remember, once you approve the grade, it still have to wait for the nightly sync in order for that grade to sync over to Genius. That is key. So if you approve the grade today, that grade will sync from Edison to Genius tonight with the sync, so the grade will show up in Genius tomorrow. And then we have our other one here. got a 94. I think they can do better. We'll reject the grade. So when you reject the grade, you have to give a comment to the teacher. So, you know, you can write that you'd like the student to retake Unit 3 exam for better grade. And then click reject. It'll ask you if you really want to send that reject request. You hit OK. And what that does is it sends a message to the teacher that you're rejecting the grade because you'd like the student to retake that Unit 3 exam. You should also let the student know that you rejected their grade and that you'd like them to retake that Unit 3 exam. Now, if you approved a grade and you want to unapprove a grade because it's a week later and the school or the administration comes out and says, we want this we want this student to have another chance to improve their grade, you can come over, click your approved over here, click the trash can. It moves it from the approval column over to the pending column, and then that's where you can reject the grade again, reject the grade, opening it up for the student to get back in to improve their score. So we're going to sign out and we're going to go back into Genius. So you've approved all your grades. We're going to fast forward to tomorrow because it's the nightly sync. Now you're ready to print off or to get your grades for your students for report cards. So there's a couple things you can do. Depending on how big your school is, you can come in here and you can go to view transcript, student by student, and you can see, okay, we've got 100 in this American History Part 1. It was completed on, let's just say 10/29/18. You can use that as the grade. You can also come over to students and you can bulk transcript your students. So we want to pull all our active students and you can get the data. Oops, that's not what I wanted to say. Generate, that's not going to work for me because it's a demo school. But the other thing you can do is you can run a report. And we have the Advisor Dream Report. So we can hit Get Data. This takes a little bit to load just because it has a lot of data points. But you can see the final grade here and when the approval date was of that grade for those students. So again, this is our demo school, so everything's going to be pretty much zeros from that point. Yeah, I don't think we have any, yeah. But you can get your grade that way as well. And then you can also export it out to Excel, and you can filter as needed from there. So that's Edison. Is there any questions with Edison? We still are working on the feature to automatically enroll in Part 2. That's coming down the road. Hopefully soon we'll have that. But you know, once you grade out Part 1, you would just come back into the demo or into your student, enroll them in the section for Part 2. So we're in the 1819, Edison, and we've got Algebra 1 Part 2. So our start date, we want it to start today. Default's 20 weeks out, so we want it to match with our next marking period. Enroll. And now our students enrolled in Part 2 for marking period 2. So that's the Edison marking period. That's how you request grades, how you approve the grades, and then again, how you pull the grade reports. Now our other vendors, Accelerate Ed, Apex, eDynamic, and OdysseyWare, their courses are all semester-based. So we're still in the first semester. The thing to remember about those courses with those vendors is the end date. The end date is key. The student or the teacher will grade the student out on that end date. So hypothetically speaking, if we're in an Accelerate Ed course and our end date was 10/29/18, the student would have until midnight tonight to work on the course, and then the next day the teacher will close the course at midnight, or the system closes the course at midnight, and then the teacher will grade the course out. If you want the student to extend, to give the student an extension, you have to do that before the 29th. So you should have extended it yesterday. Just in case, confusion processes and stuff like that. If for whatever reason you forget to extend the course and you'd like to grant the student extension, please feel free to contact our help desk. They'll be able to help you out with that extension. Apex is a little bit more strict. They grant up an extension up to 20 weeks. After that 20 weeks, however, then you have to basically send in a letter to Apex requesting a further extension after 20 weeks from that start date. Again, Apex is our main AP provider, so they're a little bit more strict with their deadlines. So if you have any questions about Apex, please feel free to reach out to me or to your IU support person with Apex then. eDynamic is one of our newer vendors. Their grading process is very similar to Accelerate Ed in that the student has until midnight of the end date to complete their coursework. Once that midnight deadline hits, the course is automatically closed for the student, and then the teacher will grade the student out. So if you do want the student to continue working, just remember to move that end date out before the end date happens. So again, if the end date were today, 10/29, you should have by now decided, okay, I want to grant the student another week and moved it out till like 11/2. Again, if you have any questions with eDynamic, please feel free to reach out to me. OdysseyWare, they're very similar to eDynamic, Accelerate Ed, and Apex in that OdysseyWare, you can extend the course out to 30 weeks from your start date. However, after 30 weeks, due to the pricing structure, they will charge a fee for courses extended beyond that 30-week range. So again, if you want to extend an OdysseyWare course out for your students, please let us know so we can walk you through that and give you more information on that. But the teacher will automatically grade the student out when either the student completes the course or the end date passes. So again, if it's the end date's today, the 29th, the student would have until midnight. The teacher will grade the course out then and send that way. So, are there any questions with the vendors or anything popping up that you're not sure about, or anything I went over that you'd like me to go over again? And I did record this, so, and I will add that to our Google folder, our Google Drive sheet with the other trainings. So if you have that link, let me know, or if you need that link, let me know. But yeah, end of marking period. Again, Edison's the only vendor we have that goes by the marking period since their courses are broken into parts. If the student finishes the course before the marking period's over, generally the teacher will grade it out. So you don't have to request the grade. However, if the student hasn't completed the course within the marking period time frame and you need to grade that student out, you have to go into Genius and request the grade. Again, that sends an email to the teacher letting them know that you want that student graded out. So yes, I can send that link out to you. So yes, and then the teacher has 48 hours to grade out the student, 72 if it's an English course, just because of the essays and stuff like that. And then once that's graded out, you have to go back into Edison and approve and reject the grade. Once you approve the grade or reject, if you approve the grade, you have to wait until the sync for that grade to then transfer over to Genius. So that's very important. And then, of course, once the grade is approved, you would come back in to your current enrollments, select that course again, and then complete it. And what that does is it takes the course off the student's active roster and moves it over to their enrollment history. So that's the final step. And that's for all our vendors once the course is done with and the grade has been finalized. So, but yes, I'll make sure to get that link out to you. There aren't any other questions. Thank you for attending. I think our next one is coming up here in a couple weeks.
Brian, are you recording these for future
Yes.
use?
Yep.
When will it be available with a link?
It should be, I think I sent them out to Lindsay last week, but I'll add this one this afternoon and send it to her again.
All right, thank you, Brian. The reason I'm asking, here in our district, we're experiencing internet connectivity issues according to IT. So I'm on my own personal iPad, but I just want to be sure that for teachers who can't get on because of their internet connectivity, we have access. So I do appreciate you doing this. Appreciate your persistence in trying to educate us and get us to do the right thing. Thank you for the help.
Anytime, Larry. You're welcome.
Take good care.
You too. All right, well, if that's everything, thank you guys for attending, and I will get this recording on the Google Doc and out to everyone as soon as possible.